Coming up, Tzu Chi begins the first cash relief program for Taitung residents in the aftermath of Typhoon Nepartak. We learn about the painstaking cleaning process that Taiwan Railway uses to keep their train carriages clean after a day's journey. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee Shota. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program with a series of reports on Tzu Chi's relief efforts for Typhoon Nepartak in Taitung. To help clean up efforts, Taiwan Railways operated extra trains to carry volunteers heading to the disaster areas. Tzu Chi volunteers, as well as students and other volunteers, seized this meaningful opportunity to offer their assistance. Meanwhile, 120 Tzu Chi volunteers from Hualien also took buses to Taitung, bringing much-needed aid supplies.
120 Tzu Chi volunteers from Hualien have lined up to enter the Taitung Jingsi Hall, joining their Dharma families in Taitung to help typhoon victims. Working in relays, the volunteers unload the supplies they brought from Hualien to be delivered to nearly 2,000 affected residents in Taitung City and Taimali Township.
We've come to deliver care, hoping that they can quickly recover from this disaster.
We hope to initiate cash for relief programs in hard-hit areas in Taimali Township.
The volunteers are taking actions to care for the affected residents, spreading love as the master wishes.
How can we deliver the master's compassion and Tzu Chi's love to the affected residents?
As these volunteers from Hualien join their local counterparts to help the typhoon victims rebuild their homes, they've also proven that love brings everyone closer together. Meanwhile, Taiwan Railways is running extra Puyuma Express and Taroko Express trains on July 10th and 11th to carry volunteers who are heading to Taitung to assist in disaster relief. Arriving at the train station, Tzu Chi volunteers work together to unload aid supplies. Traveling from Taipei through Hualien to Taitung, the volunteers with varying skill sets have brought more than 160 boxes of instant rice and dry food.
A total of 28 Tzu Chi brothers and sisters came, including some carpenters, metal workers, and electricians. We will provide assistance according to the needs of the affected residents there.
Other passengers on the train include a group of students who are interning at corporations. Instead of attending a previously scheduled orientation activity, they have come with tools to help the affected residents.
We were supposed to go to Fulong for a 3-day orientation, but we thought we should be learning through experience and helping affected residents clean up the debris. Although they've done most of the work, they still lack manpower and tools because they cannot buy good tools as easily as in Taipei.
Coming from all walks of life, all these kind-hearted volunteers seize their traveling time to double-check the list of typhoon victims, ready to do their best to help the affected residents rebuild their homes.
Among the hardest hit area of Taimali Township was Xiangnan Village, where 15 homes were heavily damaged. To help restore some sense of order in the victims' lives, Tzu Chi volunteers began a cash for relief program in the area, hoping the relief funds received and Tzu Chi's comfort will help residents of Taitung slowly but surely rebuild their lives. Seeing the Taitung County Commissioner surveying damages, residents of Xiangnan Village in Taimali Township finally found an outlet to pour out their sorrows.
Like these Tzu Chi volunteers, they can help. How the work assignment should be handed out, why don't you just follow up on that? As for subsidies for the damaged agricultural products, I'll try my best to get it.
Many Xiangnan residents' roofs were lost in the storm. Among them, 15 families have been relocated for safety. Many of them have been unable to clean up the mess.
My home has been destroyed. My farmland has been heavily damaged. No one has been here to check on us. We can't handle it.
2 days after the typhoon and after the initial disaster survey, Tzu Chi began the first phase of its cash for relief program in Taitung, where a total of 50 locals were eager to begin the cleanup work. There was even a senior in his 80s amongst the participants.
We're here to offer them care and spiritual support. There are approximately 10,000 households in Taitung that will continue to be there for.
Though the cleanup has begun, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to conduct their disaster assessment in the hard-hit Taimali Township. They have also brought Master Zhenyan's condolence letter to affected residents. Tzu Chi further plans to set up mid to long-term relief assistance, as well as more cash for relief projects in Taitung, in hopes of helping these victims through the tough days ahead. Continuing to ease the anxious hearts of the residents in Taitung after the storm settled, Jinsebo Dharma Masters and Tzu Chi volunteers visited the Qingjue Temple and the Taipei Veterans General Hospital of the Taitung branch. During both visits, the care of the Dharma Masters was enough to rest the minds of the disaster victims.
In Zhiben of Taitung, Qingjue Temple, next to the Longque Mountain, has been devastated by the recent typhoon.
这一片平的也是装好，对啊，所以它风从那个侧面的地方等于被撕裂开。
While the dormitory roof had been blown away, broken window glass is left in the manhole. Dharma masters from the Jinsi abode have come to survey damages to deliver care. There is a strong bond between Tzu Chi and this temple since Master Zhenyan had once stayed here when she was young. Therefore, she is concerned about the temple after the disaster. The 92-year-old Dharma master recalls the typhoon day.
The wind kept blowing. I didn't dare to open the windows. I didn't dare to do anything. Yes, it is. Since you come here to care for me, I feel more at ease.
Dharma masters from the Jinsi abode have put everyone's mind at ease. The Dharma master's visits bring smiles to the soldiers cleaning up the debris. The typhoon had damaged the wards of Taipei Veteran General Hospital Taitung branch. Therefore, the patients have been gathered at one location. Fortunately, all the medical staff and the patients are safe despite this misfortune.
Everyone, including the patients, needs to help with the cleanup. Otherwise, no one can stay here.
Besides assessing the damages to plan for future assistance, the Dharma masters have also eased the anxious hearts of people here.
As Tzu Chi volunteers continue to conduct their typhoon assessments in Taitung, they came across a distraught young boy who was quite relieved to see the volunteers in blue and white calling at his door. Let's take a look at this tearful story.
The typhoon scared you? You were brave.
The young boy is hugging a Tzu Chi volunteer tightly, seeking out the strongest support he can find. The typhoon stripped away the family's roof and caused havoc in his home. The volunteers just want to help them in their time of need. The boy, Lin, is studying at Fuxin Elementary School, which is now being rebuilt by Tzu Chi. One volunteer takes out a letter from Master Zhenyan and asks the boy to read it to his father. The father's attitude has softened, but their home is located on public land, so it's difficult to rebuild. When the volunteers are leaving, an accident occurs. It's a friend of the boy's elder brother who fell from the roof. He had come help fix the roof, but he broke part of the roof by stepping on it and fell to the ground. This led the boy to become worried about his brother who is still on the roof.
Be careful, brother. Come down.
The volunteers see the accident, so they call an ambulance immediately. The volunteers tell the family to stay away from their home.
Stay away because it's dangerous. Tell your mom not to hold the handrails.
The volunteers go from door to door to see if any family needs any help. Even if they can't go in, they still crack their necks to see inside if there is damage to the interior of the house.
I didn't expect to receive assistance. I thought I would have to suffer more losses.
Tzu Chi volunteers give out emergency cash and their blessing to typhoon victims. And they also take time to chit-chat with them and make sure no one is missing, demonstrating the persistence of Tzu Chi volunteers.
Typhoon Nepartak wreaked havoc on Taitung County's agriculture. Estimates from the local government suggest that over $115 million in damages have been sustained. While many residents are still without power, the community is coming together to begin their recovery.
Facing the Pacific Ocean, Taitung is accustomed to ocean storms, but the most recent Typhoon Nepartak has done unprecedented damage to the region.
I think it's really sad. So many things have already changed. It's like a totally different place. I really hope we can fix things quickly.
I don't think it matters the place. A level 17 wind is going to do the same damage anywhere. It just happened to hit us here in Taitung. Now we have got to deal with it.
These residents assess the damage in their area with teary eyes. The current estimate for the total damage has already reached $115 million. The amount of personal property damage is estimated at over $62 million, and the damage to the region's agriculture is $20 million and rising. The largest immediate problems are restoring the electricity and water for the residents. Although water has been restored, with broken pipelines and low water pressure, some people still don't have access to water. As for electricity, there are still about 8,000 households without power and over 10,000 households without working phone lines. In response to the region's suffering, love has come pouring in. Heavy machinery has arrived to help with removal of the downed trees, and residents are helping clean away broken signs and debris. On the streets, local soldiers can be seen assisting in the effort.
After we take care of picking up this area, we'll heap everything to the right side.
As the community here comes together to restore their damaged city, people across Taiwan are showing their support in letting them know they are not alone.
With the passage of the 3 Types of Experimental Education Act in Taiwan, DaAi County's Renhe Elementary underwent major changes last year to transform into an experimental school. At the school's graduation ceremony this year, students were given the opportunity to look back on their truly impressive performance over the past year.
In June, this elementary school, located near Alisan at an elevation of 600 meters above sea level, held a very special graduation ceremony. The principal leads everyone on a special tour of the campus that helps demonstrate the remarkable transformation the school has undergone this past year.
6年级跟你们的大关鸠班说拜拜。还有这个玉米啊，玉米都快成熟了。没有，还没死掉啦。
The school began its experimental education program. There were only 3 classes at the school, as they had no choice but to begin mixed-age education. This meant that 5th and 6th grades became one class, allowing students to develop an affinity for one another.
Mixed-age classes are quite good because you can play with those younger than you and you can teach them. This can give you a great sense of accomplishment, as I like playing with younger children.
Having more people in class increases your chance of having more friends when class is over.
哇，现在是要在录影，要不知道哪个时候了。
At this graduation, there are many tears of sadness as teacher Zhang Qinghui cried from the beginning till the end. Over the course of the past year, she has seen a remarkable transformation of her students, getting very good grades.
但奖状你要自己带着哦，因为这个以后你自己要甄选或干嘛都有用。
这是小铁人的。
This teacher takes out many different notebooks and folders, which all contain special awards these students have earned.
这些奖状不是毕业的。
These are not just graduation certificate awards, but awards they won by joining essay writing contest, storytelling, or something else. And there are even some national awards. These students have won 3 national awards.
Each award is proof that these students from rural areas can be quite competitive. The teacher says that in the past year, the school has undergone a dramatic transformation, upgrading its teaching materials, which has led to double the work for teachers. Sometimes parents have been asked to help out. They say it has been worth it as long as it's for the children.
我们因为不想被踩并，所以我们
We face the threat of being merged and decommissioned, so we need to adopt mixed-age classes. This year was just a preliminary test, but from my observation, I think it has helped make Renhe Elementary better than other schools, and has also given us a spark.
We are working hard trying to make the transition. I think that our experimental elementary school is just as good as others and potentially a little better.
Teachers and students at Renhe Elementary are working hard over the next 2 months to encourage more schools to join their ranks.
At the moment, for the next academic year, we plan to have 12 experimental elementary schools and 3 experimental junior high schools.
Regardless if it's the central or municipal government, we encourage schools to develop special characteristics. With passage of the Experimental Education Act, we now have 39 schools adopting such a program.
Since the 3 Types of Experimental Education Act was implemented last year, many smaller schools saw it as an opportunity to change the normally rigid public school system.
I think that Taiwan's small schools need to undertake a transition. I believe that each municipality has about 5 schools undergoing transformation, with a total of about 100 experimental schools at the moment, including traditional and non-traditional school types, indicating that we are entering a new era.
Looking back, the fate of Renhe Elementary has forever changed, as the school had no choice but to embrace an important transition, allowing it to be at the forefront of education in Taiwan.
When most of us wash our car, we simply take it to the nearest car wash. But what about the trains in Taiwan? How do they keep clean? With so many passengers traveling across the island each day, these train carriages get a bit messy. In today's last piece on the TRA and the railways in Taiwan, we'll meet some of the people keeping Taiwan's trains clean and comfortable for passengers.
For every car that completes a day's journey, a bit of dirt and grime are guaranteed. And just like people, everyone needs a good wash after a day's work. The cars are sprayed down with automatic jets and given a wipe down. However, to ensure every corner is washed thoroughly, manpower is still necessary. With soap and water, these cleaners put their strength into their brushing, making sure not to miss a spot.
When it's been raining and trains come back from that weather, the lower walls of the cars will be particularly dirty. That's the hardest part to clean.
After carefully cleaning the outside to avoid watermarks, the real struggle begins, cleaning the interior. Clutching stools and buckets, the cleaning crew climb aboard the cars with practiced ease. All 12 carriages are being cleaned simultaneously. Collecting garbage, cleaning floors, carrying a broom or a rag, everything is cleaned from top to bottom to ensure the comfort of the next group of passengers.
First, opening it up, you have to see if it has a clasp. On some of them, the clasp has broken off. Sometimes guests will break it off, so we may have to do a bit of repair.
Not all the gum can be scraped off, but there is a tight schedule and cleaning has to continue. In the bathrooms, toilets have to be wiped down and things need to be spotless. Each cleaning crew is around 15 to 17 people, and each cleaning only lasts 30 minutes. On weekends and holidays, when more commuters are traveling, there is even more work for these crews.
I was really tired when I first started. Just seeing the train each time would make me tired, but I slowly got used to the work. And since this is our job, we never do anything halfway. We strive to do the best.
There's always trash when the trains come back, and of course, gum. But after our work is done, they are squeaky clean again. When each train car is finished, we all relax a little bit because we know the passenger will be able to relax as well on the next journey.
These cleaners have to stick to their schedules and can't be delayed by even a minute. Every time you step on a clean train at the start of your journey, remember the hard-working cleaners behind the scenes working to make sure your trip is a pleasant one.
On July 2nd, 3 boys from Taiping, Taitung were playing by the DaAi Creek when a sudden downpour came down upon the area, washing away the boys in a flash flood. 2 of the boys' bodies were found the next day, while the third was finally found on the 6th. As funeral service arrangements were made at the local funeral hall, Tzu Chi volunteers visited to comfort the bereaved families. Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiping District visit the local funeral hall to offer their condolence to the parents of the 3 boys who drowned. One of the boys' father, Mr. Chen, saw a familiar face amongst the volunteers.
He came and he helped me move house in the beginning.
Tzu Chi care recipient Mr. Chen has been unable to work due to his debilitating sciatica pain. His wife cleans a local temple, barely making ends meet. Mr. Chen says he has continued to receive much assistance over the years. And now that his son has passed away after paying for funeral services, if he has money left over, he's going to donate it.
It's going to be in my son's name. Since he's with the Bodhisattvas now, as a father, it's all that I can do.
The other 2 families whose children drowned were also at the funeral hall. Tzu Chi volunteers gave the family hugs of comfort in hopes to provide them with the strongest support possible in the days ahead.
In the future, if the families have financial difficulties, we would give our assistance.
The 3 children were playing near Dali Creek on July 2nd when they were washed away by a sudden downpour. 2 bodies were found the next day, and the 3rd was found on the 6th. The parents of the 3 families thank the community for all the care they have shown, while Tzu Chi volunteers have plans to continue their loving care for these 3 families. In Taitung, Taiwan, a man entered a vegetative state after suffering brain hemorrhaging at the age of 39. For the past 13 years, his wife has stayed by his side while also managing work and taking care of their child. Hearing about the sufferings of this couple, a charity organization organized a visit to the care center to share some love with the couple.
Take a look at his hands there. He used to get rashes, but now it is much better.
This has been Mrs. Wong's life for the past 13 years, coming to the care center every day to accompany her husband and give him massages. Remembering the hardship during the early stages of his condition, Mrs. Wong is racked with emotion.
Back then, our child was still very young, and the kid was going to cram school in the evenings. At that time, I couldn't ever get a full night's sleep. There wasn't a single night that I could sleep on the bed at night.
The loving couple was married for 7 years before Mr. Wong suffered from brain hemorrhaging. Since then, Mrs. Wong has been supporting the family single-handedly while caring for the child. She says that Mr. Wong used to love singing songs in Taiwanese and even proposed to her with a song. When a charity organization heard this couple's story, they visited the care center to share a song. With a melody and lyrics filled with compassion, the visitors hope that Mr. Wong can feel everyone's love. Mrs. Wong and her husband are both deeply moved beyond words.
As Tzu Chi's plans to console residents affected by the recent typhoon has entered its 3rd day on Monday, a few volunteers have also put their efforts into packing relief supplies for the disaster victims. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.